This is part 1 of the 4.8 notes. We're going to go through example 1, and that is going to help me do problems 1 and 2 on the online homework for 4.8. I encourage you to print out this document or just take notes on your own paper so that way you can go back and look at your own notes as opposed to having to watch this video again. So solving the right triangle means that I want to find the values of all 3 angles and all 3 side lengths. Just so you know, I'm using my finger on a touch screen, so my handwriting is probably not going to be very good. So I can solve for those 6 things in whatever order makes sense. So they give me some of them, but I can go in whatever order I want. I can choose to do angles and then sides, whatever makes sense or looks easiest. So when I look at angle C, it's got that box. So right off the bat, I know that angle C is 90 degrees. Also, right off the bat, I can recognize, if I remember, what all the angles in a triangle add up to be, which is 180. And I can use that fact to find angle B, because 34.5 plus angle B, so angle A plus angle B plus angle C, which is 90, all have to add up to be 180. So I can use my calculator and take 34.5 plus 90, get 124.5, and then I take 180 minus that to find that angle B has to be 55.5 degrees. Now I can decide to find whichever side I want, whether that's A or C. I'm going to start with side A. So when I look at side A compared to this angle, side A is opposite of this angle. And the side that I'm given, which is B, which is 10.5, is adjacent to this angle. So I'm going to set up a trig function using opposite and adjacent. So the trig function that we have a calculator button for that uses opposite and adjacent is tangent. So I can set up the tangent of 34.5 degrees is equal to, I'll put my degree symbol, opposite, which is A, over adjacent, which is 10.5. And if I want to solve for A, then that requires me to multiply both sides by 10.5. So when I take 10.5 times the tangent of 34.5, I'm going to get the answer. So the first thing that I actually want to do is click this mode button and check and make sure that I'm in degree mode, which I'm not. So I'm going to scroll down to radian. I'm going to go over to degree and hit enter. So then that way I'm in degree mode. So again, just go to my mode, make sure I'm in degree mode. So when I take 10.5 times the tangent of 34.5, I get the answer. They say they have to tell me to round. Here it says 2 decimals, so I'm going to call it 7.22 because of that 6 after the 1. And then I need to find side C. And so what I'm going to do is compare side C. And I'm going to use this angle B. See how I rounded 7.22? That means I don't necessarily want to use it to find side C just because, I don't know, it might be off just enough that it's going to be 1/100th off, then I'm going to get the wrong answer. So I'd rather just use what they give me, which is the adjacent, and I'm looking for C, which is the hypotenuse. So the trig function that we have a calculator button for that uses adjacent and hypotenuse is cosine. So I set up the cosine of 34.5 to equal adjacent, which is 10.5, over hypotenuse, which is C. And there are actually a couple different approaches that I can take. I think what I'm going to suggest you to do is multiply both sides by C. That's kind of hard to see. Okay, get out of my way. I'm going to multiply both sides by C. So it says C times cosine of 34.5 is equal to 10.5. Those cancel. And I'm going to divide by the cosine of 34.5. And when I take 10.5 divided by the cosine of 34.5, I'm going to get my answer. So, I'm going to take 10.5 divided by the cosine of 34.5, and it's going to tell me that angle, or side C rather, is equal to whatever they want me to round to, 2 decimals, 12.74. 4. So I have successfully solved the triangle. I found all the missing sides and all the missing angles. So what I would like you to do is maybe pause this video and try this practice problem on your own, and then I'll go over the answers. So pause the video. Okay, so I'm positive that you pause the video and you're not just watching on through. So they don't give me a picture here. And so this is what I actually, the only detail that I really have to be concerned about. Well, actually, they tell me that angle C is the right angle. And if angle C is the right angle, then side C has to be across from it. So you can put angle A wherever you want. In the previous picture, angle A was in the bottom corner. If I wanted to put angle A at the top, I could. I'll put it in the bottom just because it's consistent. But side A has to be across from angle A. It has to be across. And then if I put angle B up here, then side B is down here. So I know angle A is 62.7, and I'm just nervous that if I try to write in there, I'm not going to be able to. And I know that side A is 8.4. So we'll try 62.7. Okay, that could have been worse. So you might have gone in any particular order. Angle C is definitely 90 degrees. That makes angle B, when I take 62.7 plus 90, I take 180 minus 152.7. I find that angle B is equal to 27.3. Okay, so using the angle that they give me, which is 62.7, I need to find, let's see, I'm given opposite and I need to find adjacent to find side B. So I would say tangent of 62.7 is equal to 8.4 over B. So when I multiply both sides by B, I get B times tangent of 62.7 is equal to 8.4. When I divide by the tangent of 62.7, I get that side B is equal to 8.4 divided by the tangent of 62.7. I get that side B is equal to 4.34. Okay, I'm going to erase this so that I have room to find C. So I'm still going to use the angle that I'm given and the side that I'm given. And so this is still opposite, so I don't actually have to erase that. But instead of looking for adjacent, I'm looking for hypotenuse. So the trig function that uses opposite and hypotenuse is sine. So I'm going to say the sine of 62.7 is equal to 8.4 over C. And then I'm going to multiply both sides by C. C times sine of 62.7 is equal to 8.4. Divide by the sine of 62.7. Divide by the sine of 62.7. I'm going to go over to my calculator. I'm going to take 8.4 divided by the sine of 62.7, and it's going to tell me that angle C is equal to 9.45. So like I said at the beginning, now that we have completed this, you can go on to your 4.8 homework and complete problems 1 and 2. I'll see you in the next video. I don't know how to stop.